Perfect. And now we're recording. So, hi everyone. Welcome to a new meeting from the Protocol Working Group. Today we're going to be talking about NEP-611, the pending transaction queue. And yeah, let's just take it away. Darius, would you like to present briefly the NEP?
Yes, thanks everyone for being here. Let me quickly share this window. Yes, so we are going to review NEP-611 today, which introduces gas keys and the pending transaction queue. And the main reason for this is to prevent a specific spam and denial of service attack that exists in separation of consensus and execution project. So we can first see what is this problem that exists in separation of execution and consensus. Um, Basically, we need to prevent attackers from including transactions from free in blockchain. Otherwise, they may be tempted to do so. Right now, this does not exist because the chunk producers always have access to the most recent state, so they can easily look at the state and determine whether a transaction is valid or not at the time of inclusion. And there is no room for anything to change from that moment until it's actually executed. However, in Spice, we have this gap between inclusion and execution, in which, for example, an account that has a contract could try to send its balance to another account, most likely controlled by itself, and then causes the other transactions to fail and become non-fee paying transactions. Any questions, or we can move to the solution part?
If there are no questions, we can move forward.
Cool. So we are introducing a new kind of access key, which contains a prefunded gas balance. The gas balance is prefunded in the sense that it cannot be reduced without the chunk producer having observability into this reduction. There is also a caveat that it can be burned as well. So if there is an attempt to programmatically delete the key, for example, in such case, the calculation that was done by the chunk producer is still holding because the attacker was not able to recover those fees. Instead, they just burnt it. So if they do cause an invalid transaction, they will have paid for it, either paid for it or have burned it. And we also have a fallback for the existing behavior to not cause too much disruption for existing workflows. So accounts that do not have any contract deployed are not impacted by this at all and have no restrictions. And if an account has a contract deployed, we are giving them a for transaction in flight kind of grace period. Of course, we can also reduce this if it turns out to be a problem. Any questions? Another point that we would like to touch on with the gas keys is that every gas key allows to share the gas balance with an array of nonces. This can be useful for relayers or exchanges or dApps that have to do complicated nonce management and would like to issue a lot of transactions in parallel. This is sort of an in-between solution between forcing the total nonce management and having no nonces in a way. And lastly, I have the overview of the new chunk producer's behavior. So first, when the transaction arrives, it will check if it's an access key or not. or a gas key. In case of access key, we will check for a contract. And if there are more than 4 in flight, we will reject that, or it would have to wait until those transactions that are in flight are certified, and then they would be included. And for the gas key, such limit doesn't apply. Instead, we can accurately check whether the transaction can pay its fees and include it based on that. Yeah, this concludes the slides I had for today.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And actually, this diagram is very nice. I think I have not seen it on the NEP, so it might be a good idea to actually add it. So later, if you want, either you add it or share it with any of us, and we can do it. Jacob, I understand that you have been following the process of this NEP, and you were one of the subject matter experts reviewing it. Would you like to comment something on this NEP?
I think most of it has been written down. I'll briefly reiterate kind of my findings, which are, first of all, this has been a long process trying to address how can we get anywhere closer to the next iteration of the consensus, specifically consensus execution being separated. And I think we had a couple of iterations of getting gas keys done that probably would have been good enough, but the team really went above and beyond and tried to come up with the best possible solution. So we had some back and forth, tried to make the design fit better into the existing design around keys, like how access keys and these new type of gas keys, how these work together. And I'm really happy with what we have in the end. I think this is the best solution that we have come forward with, or really I should say that the team has come forward with. And the only kind of thing to consider that I wanted to bring forward is that this really is on its own a feature as a stepping stone towards separating execution from consensus, and not itself a very useful feature, even though this like nonce parallelism can be useful. But I don't think we would have gone through all of this work just for that, because as far as I know, there hasn't been like a huge request for getting that done. But yeah, more details are all in the discussion. So that's all I wanted to say.
Perfect. And I do understand that you recommend for this NEP to be approved, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. Michael, you are yourself a part of the working group of the protocol working group. So anything you would want to say about this NEP? Any concerns? And then like if you feel like this NEP should be approved or not.
Yeah, I definitely think it should be approved. I agree with Jacob of, it's clearly addressing a potential issue in SPICE and doing so in a nice way. So we're happy about that. My favorite part about this is that it's moving us in the direction of SPICE while being a standalone, backwards compatible, independent feature, right? So this is letting us iteratively move towards what is ultimately going to be a fairly large change to the protocol. But doing so in these sort of smaller steps lets us sort of validate that it's being done well, and that it's not going to be breaking anything all of a sudden. So I'm definitely happy about that. Would definitely like to see more of that as we continue to move for SPICE. But otherwise, I had left a few minor comments, some technical details in my initial review. That's on the GitHub there, all of which were addressed. And yeah, so I'm happy with the state of things and happy to vote for it to be approved.
Perfect. That's very good. Anton, are you familiarized with the NEP, and do you have any concerns, and will you suggest this NEP to be approved or rejected?
Yeah, so I've been mostly on the implementation side, so I've been reviewing the implementation. obviously I'm familiar with the design to review it. So yeah, I think it should be approved. It solves the problem we have with Spice to move forward. So yeah, no brainer, should be approved.
Okay, perfect. So the good news is that all subject matter experts align on it being approved. You, Michael, yourself as part of the working group also. I think that we can consider this NEP for what it is, basically approved. I will just most probably go and reach out async, another member of the working group. I don't know if maybe Marcelo, or I will search for someone else just to have like one, extra member of the working group approval. But for all intended purposes, we can assume that this NEP has been approved. Darius, thank you so much for championing the NEP. We all know that it's not a simple process, and it generally involves tens or maybe hundreds of messages on GitHub and coordinating with multiple subject matter experts. So thank you so much for the hard work you put. And yeah, so we will continue this through GitHub, where I will basically comment that this is by all means, by all practical means, approved. And I will just let you know, Darius, how we just finish this in order to actually get it merged. So yeah, that will conclude actually the meeting, except if anyone else has anything that you would want to share. Otherwise,
I would just like to
yes, please.
thank everybody for the time and effort that was put into this to reviewing NEP, especially from Jakob's side. And also Anton put great efforts into reviewing implementation and design. So thank you, everybody.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, everyone. And we will continue this through GitHub. And have a great day. Bye-bye.